Hello, everybody. My name is Alesh Eisner, and welcome to the Canadian Money Talk. Today, I want to talk to you about budgeting, and immediately let me say that no one finds budgeting fun. In fact, it's work, boring, and time consuming. And you don't need to budget if you have money left over after you've paid your expenses, bills, credit cards, and saved 20% of your gross income for retirement. However, if you find yourself running out of money before running out of month, as the cliche goes, or constantly carrying a credit card or line of credit balance, then you need a budget. That way, you'll know where your money is going and you'll be able to make adjustments. For the future, if you want to retire or retire early, you want to budget so you know your burn rate, that is, how you are spending and reducing your savings nest egg. You can begin by tracking expenses for 3 months and prorate annual expenses like insurance and property taxes. When I once suggested to a friend that he track his spending for 3 months and that he would be surprised as to how much money he spends, he said he was sure he would be shocked. I don't think he ever did track his spending. Some people just don't want to know. To me, it is important to know where my money is currently being spent because you can't manage what you can't measure, and you definitely want to manage the problems. You also want to know your income, both before but especially after taxes. If you are working salary, this part is easy. If you want to work part time, casually, as a contractor, or just have a couple of side hustles, you'll want to take an average or make some predictions. As always, having 3 to 6 months worth of expenses is also recommended, and if your income is sporadic, you'll want more emergency cash rather than less. Before investing, paying off any high interest debt is a must, and a budget will help you do that. Decreasing your spending and/or increasing your income are the other components. I would not suggest investing until your high interest, for example, credit cards debt is paid, since you cannot get a guaranteed 10 to 30% after tax return on your investments, and it's better to pay down the debt and save that interest. Now to create a budget. First, you can choose from many types of budgets. I'll show you three, from simplest to most complex, and then my own as an example. In all of them, you assign money to expenses based on importance. Everyone is different. When you get into the details of the more complicated budgets, you need to make decisions on how to assign the money you have based on your own preferences and needs. Now, on to the budget types. Number one is the pay yourself first budget. You pick a savings rate, for example 20%, and get that automatically taken out of your savings account and invested if you are saving just for retirement. You may choose to get an extra 10% taken out and put into a high yield savings account for vacation, car purchases, or house down payment. And anything that is left over you can spend to your heart's content, since your main long term goals are covered. Number two is the 50-30-20 budget, which comes in two flavors, aggressive and easy. Here's how to use the aggressive 50-30-20 savings plan. 50% of every dollar you make should be used for spending, 30% of every dollar you make should be used for investing, and 20% should be used for savings. You're basically spending only 50% of your income. The easier version is 50 for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings and investing. So you are spending 80% of your income. In both cases, you will still want to break down the broad categories into more detailed classes, but the broad allocations are as I have mentioned. And finally, there's the number three, zero-based budget. You take the amount that you earn each month and then allocate money for different budget categories until there's nothing left, or you zero out. An example allocation is housing, rent, or mortgage 30%, groceries and bills 20%, transportation 10%, miscellaneous 10%, fun 10%, and savings 20%. So you are spending 80% of your income. You will still want to break down the broad categories into more detailed classes as needed, except for miscellaneous and fun categories, but the broad allocations are as I have mentioned. And that's it. You know where your money is going, and as long as you stick to the budget and stop spending once your allocation is exhausted, you'll be fine. You can also look at these as a cash envelope budget. That is, once the cash in the envelope is gone, you can't spend anymore. Try to stick to the budget, otherwise you'll run out of money before you run out of month. Each year, you'll want to make adjustments to the budget based on your experiences the previous year, adding here and removing there, and adjusting for inflation. And remember, don't act like government organization and spend in a category just to use up the budget so you don't lose it the next year. Also, as a suggestion, if you received a raise during the year, don't build in lifestyle creep. That is, don't let your spending grow by the amount of the raise. Save or invest all or most of your raise. And finally, number 4, my budget. It's a spending control budget. That is, I control my spending while my income is higher than what I spend. Anything left over is then manually invested. It's just the way I've set up my life. I also don't track all of my income because it is composed of relatively small amounts of dividends, which I can't be bothered to track. My brokerage tracks it for me for the CRA. I have set up a spending budget, as you can see, all in a PC software called Quicken. I automatically, through a pre-authorized payment, invest $17,000 per year, $12,000 in non-registered mutual funds, and $5,500 into a TFSA via mutual funds. So the investing is in the budget. I should also be able to live on about $30,000. I have no car, in case you're wondering. Halfway through 2020, this is how things look. Red indicates I am over budget. A few of the items are simply timing issues where I've made payments midway through the year, but the budget is over the entire year. Things like home insurance, property taxes, water, and accountant fees are showing as over budget because of that, but we'll be fine by the end of the year. A few things are legitimately over budget, and I know why. I will need to talk to my accountant especially about my taxes, since I have paid significantly more than he estimated. Lastly, a lot is under budget, either because I over-allocated, purposefully or accidentally, the amount when creating the budget. Also, because of the 2020 lockdowns, I just haven't been going to places and spending money, and I have been even more careful at the grocery. Finally, I will mention some budgeting apps, just in case you don't want to use a PC. YNAB, You Need a Budget, Intuit's Mint, free and highly recommended by various people, Koho, etc. Most will link to your bank accounts, credit cards, loans, and investments to access your information and give you a great picture of your financials, money coming in, money going out, both for now and for when you retire, so you know what your burn rate is. And so you know how much you need to have saved and when you are ready for retirement, vacation, house purchase, etc. I will put a link to a review of the budgeting apps in the description. You can always use Excel spreadsheets or just paper if you'd like. Finally, just remember, saving is just delayed spending. You'll get to enjoy your money later and there'll just be more of it. So spend within your budget. If you have any requests on what you would like for me to cover in future videos, please put that into the comment section. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, and may you have a profitable day.